Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
Today we'll be reading Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 19 and 20. And it reads, "But I said, how shall I put you among the children and give you a pleasant land, a goodly heritage of the host of nations? And I said, you shall call me my father and shall not turn away from me. Surely as a woman treacherously departs from her man, so have ye dealt treacherously with me, O house of Yasharel, says Yahuwah." Yahshua is saying, call upon me and my father. Do not turn to do the worldly things. If you do not have trust in Yahuwah, how can you receive the promise that was given to our forefathers?
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
So how many times?
So are men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. So no man ever hated his own flesh, but nourished and cherished it, even as the Lord the church. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall be joined to his wife, and they two shall be one flesh. This is the great mystery, but I speak concerning Christ and the church. Nevertheless, let every one of you, in particular, so love his wife, even as himself, and the wife see that she reverence her husband. I can never hate my
All right, shalom, Israel. Shalom. All right, okay, so we have been doing a three-part lesson. We did the first part of the lesson. We started to talk about jealousy and the jealousies of the Most High. In the second lesson, we began to talk about a few other things. We started talking about get that right. I should forget. What now? Right, the provocation of anger, right? How did the Most High was provoking Israel to anger, and how and when he did that by putting the Ashkenaz Jews in places over there inside Israel, and removing us from the land that he had given us. Today's lesson is going to be on. Let me see. We renamed it, but it's going to actually be on Yah's return for Israel and Judah. But we did rename it, so if you do see it on YouTube, it won't be the same. So this part of the lesson came first, but in order to teach this part of the lesson, we had to do the other two series of the lesson before we could actually do this one here, and it makes sense. So if there's anybody that don't really get this part of the lesson, just go back 2 lessons. They are on YouTube. Just go back 2 lessons and come forward, and you'll get everything and how it plays out and how everything ties in, right? We actually pinpointed the Most High actually putting the Ashkenaz Jews in place. We did the Ashkenaz. So we did pinpoint that by scripture. A lot of people think that that they just kind of like this, once we moved out, they just rushed in there. But that was prophesied in the book of Hosea prior to it even happening, okay? The book of Hosea 1 and 2 is about that transition. And we need to know that a lot of people think that it's about fully Israel. Also, we have to realize that Hosea was not an Israelite as far as we know. We put it this way: his father was not a Israelite. Okay, so I never did get a chance to find out, or we didn't really find any research to what his mother actually was. But in this hour, we're going to deal with the part of Yah's return and him reconciling Israel back unto himself. So if Brother Reggie would go ahead and start with, and we're going to give people time to get the scripture. He's going to start with Ephesians 5 and 21, and it's going to go through 28. 5:21 through 28. So we're going to read that. Let us know, everybody. Y'all ready? You ready, Brother Reggie?
Ready.
Okay, we'll give him a minute or 2 here. We'll go ahead and get started. So a lot of things that we're going to teach is not going to be real commonly taught from this aspect. It's not going to be commonly taught from this aspect that we're actually teaching from. We're going to teach it from a whole different aspect. So when you have to kind of like, but it's going to make sense to you anyway. It's no real big deal. The word is what it is. So Ephesians 5 and 21.
Submit yourselves one to another in the fear of God.
So the Most High is now, he's actually talking to married people. And he says, submit yourselves one to another in the fear of our Elohim. What?
Wives.
Wives do what?
Submit yourselves unto your own husband.
It says, wives, submit yourselves to any husband you desire. Is that what they're saying, brother?
To your own husband.
Read.
As unto the Elohim.
Okay, so just like you submit yourselves to our Elohim, you should be submitting yourself to your husband. And the 23rd verse says what?
For the husband is the head of the wife.
Say what now? Because some women get this messed up. In fact, some men get this mixed up.
The husband is the head of the wife,
And what?
even as Christ is the head of the church.
Uh-huh.
And he is the Savior of the body.
So Christ is the Savior of the body. So now we do know that in the book of Ephesians, where this Bible is written to who? Who is this Bible written to? Huh? It's written to Israel, am I correct?
Yeah.
So we do know that some things went down between the Most High and Israel. But he says that he is what? That the Most High is what? He's the Savior of the body. And read, brother.
Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ,
Uh-huh.
so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything.
In everything. But see, some men want to go to women and say, hey, look, you got to be submissive to me. That's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to do this right here. Read, brother.
Husbands,
Uh-huh.
love your wives,
Love your wives. What?
even as Christ also loved the church,
And what?
and gave himself for it,
That. Read.
that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word,
And what? Read that next verse.
that he might present it to himself a glorious church,
So when you love your wives and you love them like Christ loved the church, then what? You present what? A glorious wife unto yourself. And read.
not having spot
Uh-huh.
or wrinkle
Uh-huh.
or any such thing,
But.
but it should be holy and without blemish.
So now let's read that 28th verse.
So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies.
Because if we love our wives like we love our own bodies, then we won't do anything to harm our own bodies, right? So we won't do anything to harm them. Yes, ma'am.
So it wouldn't sound like the Israelite that said if your wife should die, she will listen to you. She should just drop dead right there.
Right. The sister made a very clear understanding. There was an Israelite brother that came over the airways by way of YouTube, and he said that if women don't listen to their husbands and the elders, they need to be put to death right then. But according to what we just read, that's not true. That's not true. And that Most High don't work that way. So, you know, this scripture is a great scripture for that right there to debunk what he has said. And finish that 28th verse up, brother.
He that loveth his wife loveth himself.
So if you put your wife to death, that means you're willing to put yourself to death, don't it? Why is it we see so many times when they say, well, I won't commit suicide, so I killed her first. But I missed myself. Bullet, you know, I could hit me. I kind of miss aim. So therefore, he didn't do what the Most High told him to do. Am I correct? Now, in the same fashion, let me say this to you. We read that for a reason. The Most High cannot hold Israel nor Judah or any other nation to any law unless he keep that law himself. Do everybody understand that? Because we know that a marriage took place. Am I correct? Let's go into Exodus, brother Darren. We're going to go into Exodus. We're going to hit Exodus 19. We're going to start at that first verse. We got to remember that some things took place. Some things actually took place. There was an actual marriage that took place. There was an actual ceremony that took place right here on this earth. We read it all the time. Especially us that love the Torah. Yes, ma'am.
So does that mean the Most High was married to Israel? Israel was his wife, and the Most High was our husband?
Yes. You're right on top of it. We're gonna take you down through that ceremony right now.
Okay.
All right? Are we ready? All right, let's go to the book of Exodus 19. We're gonna go through that first verse. Listen up. Where's that at? Sorry about that, everybody. Sorry about that. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to start now. We're gonna start at that, first verse, and the first verse reads thus why.
Exodus 19, verse 1.
Exodus 19, verse 1.
In the third month,
In what month?
in the third month,
Uh-huh,
when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt,
uh-huh.
the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai.
Okay, the same day they came into the wilderness of Sinai.
For they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai,
Uh-huh.
and had pitched in the wilderness. And there Israel camped before the mount. And Moses went up unto Yahweh. And the Most High called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob.
Where you at, brother?
Verse 3.
Verse 3? You'll go back and read 2 for me.
Verse 2.
I apologize. Uh-huh.
For they were departed from Rephidim
Uh-huh.
and were come to the desert of Sinai,
And they came into the desert of Sinai. What?
and had pitched in the wilderness.
Uh-huh.
And there Israel camped before the mount.
So let's think about what happened. Israel was in bondage, and they were being oppressed by who? The Egyptians, am I correct? And the Most High came in like a bright and shining arm. And he rescued them from Egypt, and he brought them unto the Mount Sinai. And guess what? Let me see my there. No, read that third verse.
Verse 3.
So let's think of it this way. We looking at, this is a relationship. Think about what's happening. Read, brother.
And Moses went up unto Yahweh,
And Moses went up to Yahweh,
and the Most High called unto him out of the
and
mountain,
the Most High called unto him out of the mountain.
saying,
What did he say?
Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob,
Uh-huh.
and tell the children of Israel, Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians,
He said, and he took him to the Mount Zion. He said, you've seen what I did to the Egyptians. It's just like a man rescuing a damsel at distress. And then once you see how I came out and I did this for you, right? And read, brother.
and how I bear you on eagle's wings,
And what?
and brought you unto myself.
So when he took Israel into Mount Sinai, he brought them unto himself. He didn't just, a lot of times you think about people in the wilderness, you say they just wandering around out there, they lost. But they was not a lost people at that time, because he had already had what? Control of their destiny. He had already brought them unto himself when he got to Mount Sinai. Am I correct? Give me that 5th verse, brother.
Verse 5.
Uh-huh.
Now therefore,
If
ye will obey my voice indeed,
here's the pitch.
and
You know how brothers get to you when they start talking to them, they start rapping to you, oh, I got this, this, yada, 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 I got this house, man, I live on myself. You show them what your qualities are. You show them how you qualify to be that man that they want you to be, to catch their understanding, to catch their thought, to win their heart. So the Most High began to win their heart here. And he said, now therefore, if you obey my voice, indeed, what?
and keep my covenant,
I'm going to make a covenant with you, and you keep this covenant with me,
then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people.
I would never put any other woman before you. I would never put anybody before you. You'd be the most treacherous woman I've ever had, I've ever came in contact with in my life. Did y'all see it? He said that because he's the father of all people. He could have chose any of them he wanted. But out of all people, he chose them. And when he chose them, he said, he landed on a thick. He landed this thing on Israel real thick right here. Right? He said, you become a peculiar treasure unto me, a special treasure unto me. You're not going to be like the other nations. You're going to be special. And read, my brother.
For all the earth is mine.
Because I own everything. I own this, brother, this is hypothetically, if the brother had it, right? I own the whole block, baby. You my woman, we get married, you're going to be special to me. I got the whole block. Which house you want to live in? No, real.
I'm glad for the ladies' reaction.
We had this conversation this week.
know I got to test it on this. And then, wait a minute.
What they were saying.
He comes on with it. He bringing it in.
He on bend the knee right here.
He got it going on. And then that 6th verse says, what, my brother?
And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests.
A kingdom of priests. On a spiritual level, a kingdom of priests is the highest level of a person, a human can be when it comes down to a spiritual connection to the Most High. You are a spiritual priest. I am going to make intercessions with you. I'm going to deal with you personally. What?
And holy nation.
Wait, he said, where we at now? Okay. And he said, I'm going to put my glasses on, brothers. I can keep up with you. Act like I can see. Okay. He said, and what? He said, and a holy nation. He's not only going to be what? A priest into the kingdom, right? He said, and listen, notice what he said. He said, and ye shall be unto me a kingdom. He didn't say a heavenly priest. Everybody got that, right? Caught that nugget? And then he said, so you're going to be a priest, you're going to be a kingdom of priests, a holy nation. So there's going to be a nation of people that's going to be a holy people within the kingdom. And he's saying, basically, I'm going to give you your own kingdom. You see that? You do this, you keep this covenant, I'm going to give you your own kingdom, mama. And keep reading.
These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel.
So now, that's the proposal. And the 7th verse says what?
And Moses came and called for the elders of the people, and laid before their faces all these words which the Most High commanded him.
Moses delivered the message. What?
And all the people answered together, and said, all that the Most High has spoken, we will do.
We will do like I do.
You got it, my brother. He said, now read that again, brother. Where you at?
Verse 8.
And he said, all the people answered together and said, I mean, that was a good pitch, wasn't it? And they all said together, and you know, they all said, we will do. So Israel accepted what? They accepted the proposal. Go into that 9th verse, my brother. Oh, go ahead and finish it. Go ahead and finish the 8th verse.
And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Most High.
He went back. Okay, you see, y'all see what's happening, right? Well, wait a minute. Let's read this 9th verse.
Verse 9.
And
the Most High said unto Moses,
Lo,
I come unto thee in a thick cloud.
I'm going to show up in a thick cloud. What?
That the people may hear when I speak with thee.
Because I want this thing to be done right away. This is going to happen between me and the people. They have accepted I gave my proposal. They have answered my proposal. We're going to have a ceremony. Read.
And believe thee forever.
Right? He said what? He said, I was speaking to thee and wait, let me go back. He said, and I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee and believe thee forever. Because he wants the people are going to believe that the Most High made a proposal to them, that he will deliver, and that they have agreed that they will be a special people unto the Most High. Am I correct?
Forever.
Forever. He didn't say for a few minutes, right?
That's right, forever.
And Moses did what?
And Moses told the words of the people unto the Most High.
At this point, Moses is doing what? He's officiating the ceremony. Can you see it? He have now became the official of the ceremony. It was laid right there before us for years.
Just like in a traditional marriage that we probably all have in our head, where we have whoever's officiating the marriage talking to the wife and they're asking the wife a question.
Yeah.
She has to answer. He does the same thing to the man.
Yeah.
Moses doing the same thing.
Moses doing the same exact thing right there. Right? And now in the 10th verse.
Verse 10. And the Most High said unto Moses, Go unto the people.
Go unto the people.
And sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes.
you know how a bride go preparing herself? She gotta go clean up, she gotta go get her hair done and nails done. Well, nowadays a lot of them don't care, but Israelites don't do a whole lot of stuff like that. You know, they'll do them, but they ain't no real special thing for them. But back in the day, they prepared themselves. They started preparing weeks and months ahead of time before they went into the ceremony. And he tell them, go tell my people to prepare themselves, right? And that 11th verse says what?
And be ready against the third day.
And be ready against the third day, because something gonna happen on this third day. What?
For the third day, the Most High will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai.
Now you see why he brought them to Mount Sinai, right? He brought them unto himself at Mount Sinai. He knew that a ceremony was going to take place, or he knew that a proposal was going to take place right there at Mount Sinai. Given the conditions of the rescue that he did for the people of Israel, they should have said, we will do it. Exodus 24 verse 3. Exodus 24 verse 3.
Exodus 24, verse 3.
Yes, sir.
And Moses came and told the people all the words of the Most High,
He officiated well. He came and gave the people the information. And what?
and all the judgment.
He gave them the judgments, because guess what? This is not just a simple marriage, because you have vows within marriages. Right? And read.
And all the people answered with one voice,
And say what?
and said, all the words which the Most High have said, we will do.
They agreed to them. Almost like a prenup. Right? Give me that fourth verse.
And Moses wrote all the words of the Most High, and rose up early in the morning, and building an altar under the hill,
Uh-huh.
and 12 pillars,
And 12 pillars. What?
according to the 12 tribes of Israel.
So those 12 pillars represent every tribe of Israel. Am I correct?
Yep.
But guess what else? This is for those people that tell people they can have crayon marriages. It was a matter of record. Moses wrote down all the words. He wrote down everything that was said within the agreement of Israel and the Most High. It was a matter of record. That's why we're reading it today. It wasn't one of those crayon marriages that you can just take a big thing and blot it out. Or I die and I got a crayon marriage and she can't read nothing. She can't benefit nothing at all. Yes, sister.
That just reminds me of when we got married. They gave us a marriage certificate,
Mhm.
but he gave us everything that he said.
He
Word
did.
for word.
He did.
Gave us in addition to that. So just made me think of that.
And not being funny, the men gave her the papers and he said, I'm giving them to you. I'm not giving them to him. I'm giving them to you. He might tear them up now. I'm giving them to you. Make sure these things are kept well. Because men in marriages, men are not as, how would you say it, not as, yes, when it comes down to keeping different things and paperwork and stuff like that. Or sometimes, you might want to go back and do some, women would go back, they would do a retro on you. They would go back and read that stuff back before you. You'd be like you're sitting back before the Most High again. They're retro because they remember in detail. That's why I'm surprised that Israel didn't remember in detail. Right? Where you at, my brother?
And he sent young men of the children of Israel.
Where you at, though?
Verse 5.
Yes, sir.
Which offered burnt offerings
Uh-huh.
and sacrificed peace offerings of ox unto the Most High. Oxen.
So now there was an offering gave, right? You know how you give the wedding party a gift? You see that? So a sacrifice offering was given, a sacrifice peace offering. You see that? It could have said a sacrifice offering, but it said a sacrifice peace offering. Because guess what? Before this marriage, before he gave them the proposal, before he put down the law of what and gave them the details of this marriage of what had to be done and what was not going to be done in order to keep this marriage going, there was no connection. Y'all understand that? There was no connection. They didn't belong to the Most High. He had not married them yet. Right? Y'all see that? So now here comes the gifts. which was a peace offering of ox. Right? The aroma went to the Most High. Where did the meat go? In them bellies. They ate it. I had some. I had some, Kelly. Yesterday I had some oxtail. I got on down through there too. Kelly walked into the box. I thought I got a gift. There's something in that bag for me. Give me that 6 verse, brother Johnson.
And Moses took half of the blood.
Now listen. Check out what's happening. A ceremony is going on. Moses took half of the blood, my brother,
And put it in basins.
and put it in basins.
And half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar.
And what?
And he took the book of the covenant and read in the audience of the people.
Hold on, brother. I meant to say something. Right? Didn't he say, when you marry somebody, don't he say, until death do you part?
Yeah.
What do you think the blood offering was about? It was a blood covenant done between Israel and the Most High. The only way out is death.
He already said forever.
He did.
He already said forever.
And that's why 2/3 of Israel is going to run into that death part of it. Isn't that something? The majority of Israel. Right? Where we at, my brother?
Start back at verse 7.
Yes, sir.
And he took the book of the covenant.
And then he took the book of the covenant. What's the book of the covenant? Remember, they said Moses wrote everything down. There was a matter of record. The covenant is a matter of record of the marriage between Israel and the Most High. Read, my brother.
And read in the audience of the people.
He read it back to them. I hope y'all understand this. Read.
And they said, all that the Most High have said we will do.
Once again, didn't they?
And be obedient.
You see that? We will do and we'll be obedient. Right? And then the 8th verse says what, my brother?
And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people.
You see that? He sprinkled it on the altar first. He sprinkled it on, because what? The altar represents who? And then he sprinkled it on the people. It's a blood oath. Back in the day, I used to watch Western movies. You had the little cowboy, you had this Indian, and they get to fighting going on, and they fight between both parties, and they do a blood oath. They would take the knife and they would cut their hand, and I'm gonna cut his hand, and then it's a blood oath. The same thing just took place. A blood oath was made between the Most High and Israel. Right? He said, and behold, he took the blood of the covenant.
Behold, the blood of the covenant, which the Most High have made with you, concerning all these words.
So look, this was not a crayon marriage. This was nowhere near a crayon marriage. Moses took account for the ceremony and everything's in the book of the covenant. Yes, ma'am. Did you have your hand up? No. Deuteronomy 24. Deuteronomy 24 and 1. Deuteronomy 24 and 1.
Deuteronomy 24 and 1. When a man has taken a woman.
Listen now, because guess what? We just saw Israel get married into the Most High, did we not? We saw the whole ceremony, right? How many of us have actually read this and saw that ceremony before? So now we see the ceremony of what? Of Israel and the Most High. But now, here comes the law of marriage. Let's read, brother.
Deuteronomy 24 and 1. When a man has taken a woman.
When the Most High have taken a bride.
And married her.
And have married her.
And it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes.
And find out that they're not going to be obedient and will do.
Because he has found some uncleanness in her.
He found, because now there's a thing of fornication and adultery, and it is very unclean. What?
Then let him write her a sefer or letter of divorcement.
And so it's saying, let him write her a what? A bill of divorcement, or a letter of divorcement. And what?
and give it in her hand.
Don't just write it and hold on to it and hold it over her head.
Give it in her hand.
And make her do special favors to keep her married.
Give it in her hand.
Give it to her.
And send her out of his house.
Get out of here. No sense in playing games with it. You gotta go. You ain't doing right. You gotta go. Right? Read.
I just want to go back and say it's not just because he felt like he wanted the divorce. It was because he found uncleanness
That's it.
in her.
Right. You see. So you see that, right?
The conditions of the marriage or the vows of the marriage have been broken on her part.
Because he found that she had no favor in his eyes. Why she didn't have favor? Because of what my brother just said. She had defiled herself. Right? Think about it. You got a husband. He come in when he want to and leave when he please. You paying all the bills. You give a dollar here and there and think he did something. He buy dinner one day and think he owned the house. You be ready to give him that swift kick, right? Or if you got that same woman, and a woman you come home and dishes all stacked up all those things, house dirty, like Mike would say, nah, I don't want to live there. Anytime a mice don't want to live with me, that's a problem. What? Come on now, let's be real, right? Come on, let's be real, right? Well, yeah, brother, bring me back to speed.
All right, I'm about to go to 2, but also the premise of this, with him making that pronouncement about the woman being unclean for us men is that the man is clean. The man is keeping the covenant. The man is keeping the conditions of
Exactly. 2 wrongs don't make a right. Go with that number 2.
And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's woman.
Do you see that? She can go she can. It didn't say she will. She can go be another man's what? Wife. Right? Now, Jeremiah 3 and 8. Jeremiah 3 and 8. Is this thing falling into place so far? Because we know some things went down, right? Let's go down through there. Jeremiah 3, verse 8. Jeremiah 3, verse 8. Give them a moment to get there. That was a beautiful ceremony. You see that? We got a chance to relive the ceremony. We went right down through that, didn't we? I saw it in my mind going down. Right? You ready, brother? Ready?
3 and 8.
Yes, sir. Jeremiah 3, verse 8. Jeremiah 3, verse 8.
And I saw.
Okay, and Jeremiah said, and he saw what?
When for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away.
Well, it wasn't Jeremiah that saw that, was it? The Most High seen that, right? So that shows the uncleanness of Israel. Because remember, the Most High have to live by his law. He cannot hold you to a law that he can't keep himself. Everybody understand that, right? So the Most High, he said, and I saw, when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I put her away. And what?
And given her a bill of divorce.
He didn't just let them linger around. He separated. You got out of here. And then what?
Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also.
See, the Most High. See, it started off as Israel. So he married Israel. Then Israel split. So you had the northern tribe and you had the southern tribe. Remember the 2 lessons we just had, right? He divorced the northern tribe, which was Israel, and Judah saw what was going on and did what?
Went and played the harlot also.
And backslide is in backslide Israel has just, well, I'm sorry, I went too far. Where were we at?
I finished 8.
Finish 8. Okay, read that next verse.
And it came to pass through the likeness of her whoredom.
Because treacherous Judah played the harlot also. Wait, let me back up a little bit. Let me back up just a little bit. Right? Would you want, if you marry, would you want to deal with and I know you, I'm not just saying, I know you probably say neither one, but would you rather deal with a person that's committing adultery would you like to deal with somebody that not only was committing adultery, but they was treacherous also? Just treacherous. But if you look at this thing, it's saying that Judah was treacherous. She saw everything that Israel done, but Judah was treacherous. And by the way, Judah didn't get no divorce papers. Isn't that strange? Now you worse than that woman I got. I'm not pointing at anybody. Y'all know I'm throwing my hand. I'm the one wife. But it's saying that, you know what I'm saying? He's saying that now I don't put my wife away, but you worse than she is. And I'm not gonna put you away. There's a reason why I didn't put you away in. It's gotta be something. There's gotta be a reason. So guess what though? I'm not gonna tell you right now. Because that was the question Brother Jones spoke about. That's my buddy right there. Where we at, brother?
9.
9. Read 9 for me.
I'll start to forget it.
Yes, sir.
And it came to pass through the likeness of her whoredom that she defiled the land
Defiled the land.
and committed adultery with stones and with stocks.
Remember, he gave them a land. Right? Israel is Israel. Why do you think the land is named Israel also? Because the land belonged to the people. The land, how did Israel get their name? The Most High surnamed Israel, am I correct? When he dealt with Jacob, and Jacob wrestled with the angel, and he surnamed him Israel. When he named him Israel, he gave him his name. Then he gave them the land, which is called Israel, which what? Representation of what? Holiness. Because remember, they were supposed to be priests unto him. They were supposed to be a peculiar people unto him. They were supposed to be something that any other nation was not. That's why he chose them, because he loved them and tried to. And it's like, well, I can't say that in here. But yes, I'm gonna leave that alone. Y'all ready? Where we at?
10.
10, read.
And yet for all this, her treacherous sister Judah had not turned unto me with her whole heart.
Her treacherous sister Judah. I divorced you and your sister just treacherous. Got papers on both of you, but she treacherous. And then turned back to me, but you didn't turn back with your whole heart. Why you say, but what? But how did they turn back, brother?
But vainly,
But they vainly turned back. Read, brother.
saith God.
And what? That 11th verse.
And the Elohim said unto me,
Uh-huh.
the backsliding Israel hath justified herself more than treacherous Judah.
You see that? Israel had justified themselves more than Judah. But Israel got the papers. I'm gonna do better. But Israel got the papers. Oh, baby, please. Man, I never heard you beg like that before. Oh, baby. But they got the papers. Give me the 12th verse.
The 12th verse.
Uh-huh.
Go and proclaim these words toward the north, and say, return, thou backsliding Israel.
Because what? The northern tribe was in the north. Read.
Saith the Elohim. And I will not cause mine anger to fall upon you. For I am merciful.
Well, I'm merciful. What?
Saith the Most High.
You already divorced. Turn back now. But I'm merciful.
And I will not keep anger forever.
But remember, he asked them to turn back, right? But according to his law, if you divorce somebody, right? Too early? What is that? Oh, you saw it? We went down through that? Saw Judah? Okay, so just think about it, right? According to his law, if you divorce her and she go be with something, if she go marry somebody else, you cannot turn back to her. Am I correct? Israel didn't marry nobody. Did they? They played the harlot. They messed around with everybody under the sun. Every small God, but they didn't marry nobody. Let's go. I just want to throw that little nugget in there for you. Let's keep reading. Give me the verse when you read.
Verse 13.
Yes, sir.
only acknowledge thine iniquity, that thou hast transgressed against the Elohim, against Yahuwah Elohim, and hast scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree. And ye have not obeyed my voice, saith the Elohim.
Now, when our Redeemer was walking on this earth, right? When he was walking on this earth, he told his apostles, well, he sent Apostle Paul. He didn't tell, he told the other, he said, let me get it right. And I took it out of the lesson. But anyway, he said he came back, but for who? But if they've been spread out among the Gentiles, how is he going to get to them? He had to go to the Gentiles, right? That's why he told Apostle Paul to go into the Gentiles. Because they was out there. Right? Where you at, my brother?
14.
And read.
Turn, O backsliding children, saith the Elohim, for I am married unto you.
You see that? That we went through the ceremony. Because he's married unto them. What?
And I will take you, one of a city, and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion.
So wait a minute. Israel been divorced. But they did not marry anybody else. But Judah was still married. So he's talking to Judah here. Because Judah was still married unto him. Right? And you in that 15th verse, am I right, brother?
And 15.
Uh-huh.
And I will give your pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding.
Because they had not turned back yet, even up until the time of slavery. Even up until the time that they got here. When they got here, it got even worse because they took us and they separated us more and more from our Elohim. Right? So he couldn't give them pastors with understanding until we was awakened and started to turn back. They said Judah will rise first. You know what I mean? They began to turn back toward him. Now he's giving an understanding. And even now, there's Israelites that don't have the true understanding. Even now. Why? Because there's still something treacherous going on. Right? Like giving crayon marriages, like murdering women. Right? And what she say?
No, I'm saying it said in scripture that allowed Paul not chosen.
Yes. He said, many are called, but a few are chosen. Right? Deuteronomy 24. Who had 24? You had 24. Deuteronomy 24. And go to that third verse.
Deuteronomy 24 and 3.
Jeremiah 3. Go ahead.
And if the latter man hate her,
we back into it again. But if the latter man hate her,
and write her a letter of divorcement, and gives it in her hand, and sends her out of his house, or if the latter man die, which took her to be his woman,
his wife, read,
her former man or husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his woman.
You see that? Y'all saw the conditions, right?
If she married somebody else.
Right. That if she married somebody else, didn't take place, right? And
after that she is defiled.
Read.
For that is an abomination before Yahuwah.
Where you at?
I'm in 4. I'm at the bottom.
Okay, I'm trying to find the abomination. Yeah, I see it. Okay, go and read the whole thing again.
All right. Her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife.
Now let's go back. That ties into 3. You got to read 3 first so you can understand that. But keep reading, brother. After that, she is defiled. For that is abomination before Yahuwah. And you shall not cause the land to sin with Yahuwah Elohika, which Yahuwah Elohika gives you for an inheritance. What land's inheritance land?
Israel.
Right. So they were in the land of what? Israel. Right? Right? That was the land. And that's the same land he was talking about being defiled because they defiled the land. Y'all defiled the land when y'all went out to these, not y'all, but you know what I mean, Israel. when they went after these small GODs. So y'all see what's going down, right? And then listen. Also remember, Israel is supposed to be what? The inheritance of who? Israel. Right? Now give me Jeremiah 3 and 1. Jeremiah 3 and 1. So we remembering what this law of divorce is as we go down through there, right? But we saw what Israel and Judah did unto the Most High. Now we're in Jeremiah 3, and we're going to read that first verse.
Jeremiah 3, verse 1.
Jeremiah 3, verse 1.
They say, if a man put away his wife.
They say, if a man put away his wife.
And she go from him.
And she go from him.
And become another man.
And become another man.
Shall he return unto her again?
That's the question. Shall he return unto her again? Read.
Shall not that land be greatly polluted?
Shall not that land be greatly polluted?
But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers.
You see that? He didn't say you went and married another. He said they played a harlot with many lovers. What?
Yet return again to me, said the Most High.
That's why he can accept him back. That's why he said, now you turn back unto me. Right? They played the harlot, but they never married another. Give me that second verse.
Verse 2.
Uh-huh.
Lift up thy eyes unto the high places.
Uh-huh.
And see where thou hast not been lying with.
Isn't that something? How can you tell your wife, just go outside and look around and tell me somebody you ain't slept with? Just point one of them out. Isn't that something? You know y'all wouldn't be with her. Y'all know she wouldn't be with you if you did it. Yes.
I was just thinking, like, because we not in our land, right? We've been with other gods outside of our land. We connected to the land. If I'm it was us to the land too. That's again why he takes us back too. And that makes me think about like the abomination of desolation. That's the founding of the land, and that's when he got to come swiftly, because he's not going to allow any other god to come in and defile his land.
Yes, great answer, right? But also, give me, Brother Reggie, give me Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Because once this marriage took place, this actually happened. Stay away. Who reading that, Jeremiah? Hold tight.
Deuteronomy 7, verse 6.
Uh-huh. Now drop down to that, wait a minute. That 7th verse.
Deuteronomy 7, verse 7.
Uh-huh.
The Elohim did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people.
Uh-huh.
For ye were the fewest of all people.
Uh-huh. Give me that 8th verse.
But because Elohim loved you, and because we would keep the oath which he has sworn unto your father.
That's it. That's it. He made an oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He has to keep this oath. That is a covenant that he went in with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Right? You see that? I'm not going to put this last little piece in there yet, but that's a part of it. You on point, sister. So he made that covenant with them. So yeah, he put him on. He gave Israel a divorce decree, but Judah is still there. Am I correct? So his oath with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob still exists. Am I correct? Because Judah came from the same bloodline as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So the oath that he gave unto Abraham, the same one he gave unto Isaac when he came in, and the same one he gave unto Jacob, still exists in the process of keeping Judah. So not only did he just keep Judah because Judah kept the Sabbath, but he had to hold his oath. That's what the answer. Because he had to hold on to that oath that he had made with the forefathers. Are y'all with me so far?
Because those were also blood covenants that he made.
Because if he had divorced Judah, then he would have broken the covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Y'all got it?
Yeah.
Eric, like he got it. You got it, don't you, brother? Where we at, brother? Help me out. Where we at? We in verse 2, right? Read.
Lift up thy eyes unto the high places.
He said, lift up thy eyes unto the high places.
And see where thou hast not been lying with.
And see where you ain't went around and laid around with somebody. Read.
In the ways hast thou sat for them.
And then you just sat around for them. Leg cocked all up, showing your under thigh. Read.
As the Arabian in the wilderness.
Uh-huh.
And thou hast polluted the land with the whoredoms and with thy wickedness.
So we see that, right? The pollution of the land is like a defilement of the bed. You know what I mean? Y'all see that, right? Because the land is where they. I don't want to get too deep in it. I don't want to give up my little thing, right? I get to talk my wife and through a lightning bolt up there. Bing! Doing it too fast! Okay, brother, where you at?
Verse 3.
Read.
Therefore the showers have been withholden.
Uh-huh.
And there have been no latter rain. And thou hast a whore's forehead.
So wait a minute. So now, he says, so the showers have been holding. Remember, he turned. He turned away from Judah. Not Judah, Israel. But Judah was worse than Israel, but he kept Judah. I couldn't figure it out for the best of me. Didn't get the nugget until the last part of the day. But I got it. Right? By the grace of the Most High. Right? So now, he said that Israel has a whore's forehead. Meaning what? That's all they think about. Only thing going down through their mind is how they can defile themselves. You just think like a whore. You know what I mean? Ain't that bad? It's all right to think like a lady, make a mistake and be a whore once, but no, that ain't not even all right. That's not all right. That's not even all right. You know that's not all right. Y'all know that's not all right. Scratch that. Scratch that. Because brother, we ready to eat me up at the eat, and when it's done with you know better, elder. But yes, we know that, right? He said that they had a forehead, a whore's forehead. They thinking like him. Then he said, thou what?
Thou refuse to be ashamed.
And then out of the things that they do, and they're not even ashamed of it. You see that every day. You see thoughts running around the street, walking up and down the street with a number on their forehead. You got the right dollar, you got them. And they're not even ashamed of it.
Forehead is like mindset.
Most men nowadays, I won't say most men, a lot of men nowadays use currency to even draw the woman. They don't have no assets. But they got a big pocket of wallet of money. That's why it's easy to sell drugs and get women. Because the thought is there. I want the money. Can you get my nails done and my hair done? And you give me some scrimp? And we can go late. You got rent for one night? I mean, can you get a hotel room? Oh my Lord, help us all. I know I go a little deep sometimes, don't I? Where you at, brother?
Verse 4.
Uh-huh.
Will thou not from this time cry unto me?
He said, well, you're not even ashamed of what you're doing. Will you just cry out to me? Will you just, just say you're sorry? What?
My father, thou art the guide of my youth.
He said, my father, thou art the guide of my youth. What does that mean? From the first generation, right? Yeshua have guided Israel ever since he brought them out of the land of Egypt. We was as babe when it came down to the law. The law was first given, or only given to us, right? And we had, at that time, I don't know if they had in the strangers in the camp, but I think they did. I'm pretty sure they did. In fact, I know they did. But at that time, that's when they was like Israelite babes. They was the first generation. So he guided them all the way up into the generation that they got the divorce papers. You see? Brother Jones, Ezekiel 23. Ezekiel 23 and 1. Ezekiel 23 and 1. And you're gonna go back. You're gonna go back into Jeremiah 5 after we finish this, okay? And then I want Brother Kevin to go down through Jeremiah 31. But Ezekiel 23, verse 1.
All right, Ezekiel 23, verse 1.
Ezekiel 23, verse 1.
The word of the Most High came
You did good. Come on.
The word of the Most High came unto me again, saying,
What did the word say unto Ezekiel?
Son of man, there were two women,
There was two women,
the daughters of one
the
mother,
daughters of one woman,
and they committed whoredoms in Egypt.
in Egypt, because when they was in Egypt, they was in bondage, they took on the custom of the Egyptians. Read.
They committed whoredoms in their youth.
They committed whoredoms in their youth. What?
They were their breast pressed, and then thy bruise, thy teats of their virginity.
Read.
And the names of them were
Aholah,
the elder, and
Aholabah.
her sister.
Aholah the meaning of Aholah is his tent or his tabernacle. Right? And Aholabah means my tent is in her. Continue to read, my brother.
And they were mine.
He said, they were mine.
And they bare sons and daughters. Thus were their names Samaria is Olah.
That's Olah. That's the one he said is his tabernacle. What?
And Jerusalem,
Ahobah. Which is what? My tent is in her. My tabernacle is in her. Right? So now a lot of people say Samaria had nothing to do with this, but I beg to differ. Samaria had something to do. There was Israelites in Samaria. Give me that fifth verse, brother.
And Aholah played the harlot when she was mine.
Israel played the harlot. What?
And she dated on her lovers, on the Assyrians, her neighbors.
And they went out to the Assyrians. Remember, they went out. They took on the customs of the Assyrians and what?
Which were clothed with blue captains and rulers. All of them desire young men, horsemen riding upon horse.
Don't that kind of remind you of the purple people? A lot of people are drawn to these people by the colors they wear. Some of them wear white, some people wear purple, some wear white. You know, it's like these camps have different colors that draw people. Sometimes it's not what they're saying, they want to look like that. Or they come out like they one of those soldiers from back there during the time of King Tut. You know, and people want to look like that. It's a drawing card, you see, and then they go out and it draws Israel into that, and they're not listening to the my Lord, the doctrine. They're not listening to the doctrine. Thank you, brother. They're not listening to the doctrine. They're looking at what they see. And give me that 6th verse. You already gave me that.
Yeah, we had 7.
Give me that 7th verse.
Thus she committed her whoredoms with them, with all of them that were to the chosen men of Assyria, and with all on whom she doted, with all their idols she defiled herself.
Read.
Never left she her whoredoms brought from Egypt. For in her youth they lay with her, and they bruised the breast of her virginity, and poured their whoredom upon her.
Do y'all know that Israel never got to the point in the spiritual walk? Israel had never gotten to the point that the Most High had meant for them to be. That's why that's why they won't get rid of the I think it's the celestial body, right? Am I right? Which is well, you're gonna get the celestial body, but you're gonna be the terrestrial body. Okay, so because they never made it to that point, they never made it there. They were still in their virginity. They were still innocent people. but they got pulled away by the Assyrians. Right? Go back to Jeremiah. Did you finish that, brother? Yeah.
Who's that 9?
No, you finished. Go with Jeremiah 3 and 5. Jeremiah 3 and 5. Not to throw no shade. How you gotta say go ahead, brother.
Jeremiah 3, verse 5.
And it reads thus wise.
Will he reserve his anger forever?
You gotta think about that. Is the Most High gonna stay angry at Israel and Judah forever? What?
Will he keep it to the end?
Will he just keep his anger all the way up until the end?
Behold, thou hast spoken and done evil things as thou couldst.
Yeah, he's saying Israel and Judah has spoken. They have spoken evil things, and they have done everything evil under the sun they could possibly do. Read that 6th verse.
The Most High said also unto me in the days of Josiah the king, hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel hath done? She is gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree, and there hath played the harlot.
You know, they talk about the light being on the hill. You know, if you look at a light from a distance, from a long ways out, you can see a light on top of a hill. But if a light is in a valley you way off, you might look over that light, right? So he's saying that Israel did everything they could in front of everybody. Can you imagine that? You married to somebody and they just walk out and go be with somebody and don't care who said it. They don't care if your mama said it. They don't care if your dad said it. They don't care if your brother or your sister said it. They don't care if your girlfriend said it, your boy, your buddy said it. Hey, I'm on it. And then when they're done, they return back home.
It's like,
Oh my Lord.
they should,
Huh?
God's way.
Yeah.
So what?
Don't you belong to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Yeah. But why are you over here with Baal?
I'm ashamed.
Right.
I'm ashamed.
You see that? Where you at, brother?
Verse 7.
And read.
And I said, after she had done all these things, turn thou unto me.
Even after that, he still told her, turn back to me. What?
But she returned not. And her treacherous sister Judah saw it.
And treacherous sister, and treacherous Judah. See, you know, I'm guilty too. Well, you know, he didn't divorce Judah, so Judah must have been the best of the two, right? They the best of the two. That's why he didn't divorce Judah. Now, the only good thing about Judah is we'll find out later, but there's one good thing about Judah, right? And what you got, brother? You at the 8, about 9. I'll read.
And I saw, when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away.
He said, I put her away. He said, I had put her away. Read.
And given her a bill of divorce.
And given her a bill of divorce. What?
Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not.
Judah wasn't even scared. Judah saw how he spread Israel out all over the other nations. And Judah wasn't even scared. He ain't gonna do nothing to me. You know, I ain't worried about him. You know, when you're in love with somebody, you marry somebody, they get bold, man. They try some things on you. Keep going, brother.
But went and played the harlot also.
And still went and played the harlot also. Read that name first. He get it. You got it, brother? You got it one down? I'm just joking. Anybody on it? Get your brother back. 9.
And it came to pass through the likeness of her whoredom.
And it came to pass through the likeness of her of likeness, not like, but likeness of her whoredom.
That she defiled the land.
That she defiled Israel. What?
And committed adultery with stones and with stocks.
Stones and stocks. Do y'all know that? Stones and stocks. Do y'all know they got bestiality out here today? They got people marrying goats and dogs and cats and living with them and sleeping with them. There was a lady on the internet that said that 10 reasons why I'd rather be with a dog than a man. Go on YouTube and type it up. It'll tell you. 10 reasons why. It's funny. We were doing a lesson, and I was reading over the lesson, and it popped up. I'm saying, wow, why did the Most High show me that? Right? And it came to pass through the likeness of their whoredoms that she defiled the land and committed adultery with stones and with stocks. Now, they wasn't talking about stock market. Read that 10th verse.
And yet, for all this, her treacherous sister Judah hath not turned unto me with her whole heart, but faintly saith the Most High.
Brother Kevin, Jeremiah 31 and 31.
Jeremiah 31 and 31.
31 and 31. We're going to read 31 and 32.
Jeremiah 31 and 31. Behold, the days come.
The days come,
says Yahweh, that I will make a renewed covenant with the house of Israel.
He said that I will make a new covenant, meaning that he said renew, but same thing. He gonna make a new covenant because there was a covenant before the covenant. What?
With the house of Israel. And with the house of Judah.
With both of them. Now how is that so? He divorced Israel. Judah playing the harlot, but he still said that what? And based on the law of marriage, things had to take place. Read that 32nd verse.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt.
It's going to be a whole different type of covenant. Read.
Which my covenant they broke.
With my covenant they broke.
Although I was a husband unto them, says Yahweh.
They broke the covenant even though he was a husband unto them. They broke the marriage. Right? I think we read Matthew 19. Matthew 19 and 4. Matthew 19 and 4. We're going to run on down through 11.
Matthew 19 and 4.
Yes, sir. Matthew 19 and 4. But he said he's going to do a new covenant. See, his ways are well higher than our ways. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. How can you go through the same things we go through here on earth, keep the same law you put upon us, but you are able to maneuver it and make things fall out in a very righteous and holy way? Isn't that something? 19 verse 4, Matthew 19 verse 4, and it reads, that's why.
And he answered and said unto them, Have ye not
read
that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female?
And said,
For this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh.
Hold on. There's a scripture. I hope everybody knows the scripture, right? That no man has seen the Father at any time. The only person they've ever seen was the Son. And that Son is that cloud that follows them. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So who did they marry? They married the Son. Right? So the Son has to, he has to be dedicated to his marriage. Am I correct? But I'm sure he'd go to the Father for advice, but I would. I did. At times when I was doing things I shouldn't have been doing, not heard, but I mean. Where we at, brother?
6.
Uh-huh.
Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh.
They are no more twine, but one flesh. He surnamed them. So Israel and our Hamashiach was one flesh. Right? Read.
But therefore Yahweh hath joined together, let not man put asunder.
Can't no man change it. Read.
They said unto him, Why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorce and to put her away?
What?
He says unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffer you to put away your wives. But from the beginning, it was not so.
Y'all see that? Moses allowed you to do that. But in the beginning, when he was not Christ, and he was the one that followed him through the wilderness and brought them out of Egypt, it wasn't so. Y'all see that? Moses allowed them to do something for the hardness of their heart that he couldn't do. Is that making sense? Anybody? No? Well, yeah, brother.
9.
Read.
And I say unto you,
And I say unto you,
whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery. And whoso marrieth her which is put away, doth commit adultery.
Here's what? Read.
His disciples said to him, if the case of the man be so with his wife, it is not good to marry. But he said to them, all men cannot receive this saying, save they to whom it is given.
Everybody don't understand. Everybody don't understand that he's living by the same law himself. And he has a marriage with Israel, and he has a marriage with Judah, right? They went out, they committed adultery, and he divorced Israel. Now, Judah did too. Judah committed adultery also. But let's do something. Let's touch something right quick. Brother Chauncey, can you hit Romans 7 and 1? Romans 7 and 1. We're gonna run down through 1 through 4. And brother Kevin, we're gonna hit Hebrews 7. Let us know you read that, brother. Everybody getting the picture so far? Now, there's a reason. See, this lesson came first. But before you could understand what we're actually saying here, we had to show you that he's a jealous Elohim. He has a reason to be jealous. Right? And then we had to show you the other part of the lesson. Right? Well, he had to deal with Israel a certain way in order to line them up for what's happening now. Right? You ready, brother?
Yeah. Romans chapter 7, verse 1. Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law.
I'm speaking to them that know the law. What?
How that the law have dominion over man as long as he lived.
The law have dominion over man as long as he lived. We're talking about that marriage law. Read.
For the woman which have a husband is bound by the law to her husband so long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loose from the law of the husband.
Y'all see that, right? Read.
So then, if while her husband liveth, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress.
Read.
But her husband be dead, she is free from that law. So that she is now adulteress. She is no adulteress, though she be married to another man. Wherefore, my brethren, ye also are become dead to the law by the body of Christ, that ye shall be married unto another, even to him whom is raised from the dead, that we should bring forth fruit unto Yahweh.
There go your nugget. Y'all didn't get it. It just flew right past your head. There go your nugget. As long as, remember, Yeshua is the one that married them. As long as he was alive, they were bound by the law of marriage. When he died, the law of marriage with Israel and with Judah was all none void.
So that's how the covenant was. That's why they come back with the new covenant.
Do you see it? It just said that. It just said that you should bring forth fruit unto our Elohim. Right?
So it said, but back up. It said, wherefore, my brethren. Somebody give me that fourth verse again. Wherefore, my brethren.
Wherefore, my brethren,
Ye also
are become dead to the law by the body of Christ.
You are dead to the law of marriage by the body of Christ. That's why Christ had to come down himself. He had to come down himself and come into a body. And when he came into that body, because if not, he could not keep the law and the covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He would not have been able to keep that covenant. Because Judah was treacherous, they were worse than Israel. He divorced Israel, but Judah was even worse. Right? If he had stayed on the scene, he would have to divorce Judah too. Right? He had to die to annul the marriage, which left him open to marry someone else, but they have not gotten married. They are free to be married again, Israel and Judah. Right? But here comes something a little bit deeper than that. Who did I give Hebrews 7 and 14 to? That's you? Ezekiel 37 and 19. Get that ready. Hebrews 7 and 14. Does everybody understand what we are so far? Is it making sense to anybody? Okay.
Hebrews 7 and 14.
Hebrews 7 and 14 reads thus wise.
For it is evident that our Adonai sprang out of Judah, of which tribe Moses spoke nothing concerning priesthood.
Moses had never spoken no priesthood coming out of Judah. But we know that what? We know that our Elohim sprang from what? Judah. Read.
And it is yet far more evident, for that after the similitude of Melchizedek, there arises another priest.
So a high priest, he came through Judah, but he came through Judah as a high priest. And read.
Who is made not after the Torah of a carnal commandment, but after the power of an endless life.
You see? Because the law, right, is going to be was done away with when he came. I didn't come away to do away with the law. I came to fulfill the law. Right? He made the law greater. That's why he's talking about living by the letter. He made the law greater. He took a law that would cause damnation and death and turn it into an everlasting life law. Do everybody understand that? Read.
17. For he testifies, you are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek.
How long, brother?
Forever.
Think about this. Right? If Israel was a whore and went out and made it with every other god there was and tested all the other gods there was out there, and he divorced Israel, right? But Judah was worse than Israel. Why did he divorce Judah? Because if you think about it, 70 years after Christ died, Judah went into captivity. So he had to leave the line of Judah open in order for Christ to come down through there. That's the only reason why he let him die. If he had gotten rid of Judah, Christ could not have came down through Judah. Y'all see that? That was it. That was that great nugget that was on the text line. Because if he had divorced Judah, right, and spread him in the four corners of the earth, he could not have came down through Judah. And if he had divorced him at the same time, he divorced Israel. Because by the time, because remember, Israel was carried away by the Assyrians because what? Because they fornicated with the Assyrians. They fornicated with the laws of the Assyrians. So he's okay. You want to be with that? I'm going to let them overtake you. Go ahead. You out of here. Get with your divorcement. You out of here. But I can't get rid of your nasty sister because it's prophesied I got to come down through her. So I'm going to come down through her. Then I'm going to give her the boot too. She out of here. But first, she got to serve her purpose. You see that? We're going to close out with Ezekiel 37 verse 19. The order of Melchizedek forever. He had to keep Judah in order to bring down what? To fulfill the law. And really, that's how his life everlasting. That's how he became. Remember, he told us, I came back, but for who? So this whole thing was done that he could redeem the whole the house of Israel.
Right.
You can mention Israel and cover Judah, but it's hard to mention Judah and cover Israel. Go ahead, sister.
Because they essentially they were one. It was Israel and Judah's fault that they became Israel and Judah. It's supposed to have just been Israel, period.
And here it comes. Ezekiel 37, verse 19.
7 verse 19.
Loud.
Say unto them, thus said Yahweh Elohim,
thus says Yahweh Elohim,
behold, I will take the stick of Joseph,
which
is in the hand of Ephraim,
and
the tribes of Israel, his fellows, and will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah,
what?
and make them one stick.
Because why? He's coming back to marry one wife. Read.
And they shall be one in my hand.
Because guess what? They're going to be one. They're going to be one with him. Because the two, when they marry, they become one. Read, my brother.
And the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thy hand before their eyes.
It's going to be before their eyes. Read.
And say unto them.
And what? And say unto them.
Thus said the Most High Elohim. Behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen.
He took Israel, he just sent them among the heathen right off the top. He's going to take them back. What?
Whither they be gone, and will gather them on every side, and bring them into their own land.
And what else?
And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel.
Which is what? What mountain is that? The same place the marriage took place. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Mom. You missed the marriage. We had a ceremony.
Oh, I'm always
We had a ceremony this morning.
just like a Tom Jane yesterday.
Yeah, we sat back and we watched Israel marry Yahshua. We'll bring it back to you.
we got right here. You said turn around and go back home.
Oh, my Lord.
Because Martha got locked out of the house.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. That's all right. Guess what? We on YouTube. She can watch it again.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah.
But you know, the kings came through the line of Judah.
Yes. He came down.
Yes.
Our Hamashiach
Saved him.
came down through the line of Judah. Right? But he couldn't divorce Judah, because if he had and sent them away, but he sent away Israel, then it would not have been possible. But remember what he said, right? At one time, he was going to kill off all of Israel. And he was going to keep Moses. And he was going to start again with Moses. So think about it. When he divorced Israel, the bloodlines stopped. When he was killed, the marriage and everything stopped. Right? Now he come back and he starts everything all over again. A whole new covenant.
Well, does that mean that divorce is acceptable now?
The what?
Divorce and marriage again, is that acceptable now?
Well, he ain't came back yet. But what we have to do, but what happens is we are striving to keep his law, statutes, and commandments. Right?
We preparing for the marriage.
We're preparing for the marriage. That's why you got 2/3 of Israel that's not preparing, and out here doing all this foolish wickedness that's not going to be a part of it.
I'm talking about today, you know, if a person, a man divorces his wife, then she marry again. You know, it said except the adultery.
Yeah, no, she can marry again.
Oh, okay.
According to the law we just read.
Yeah, okay.
Right, according to the law we just read.
I can pass that on.
You good? You good, Mom? I'm good. All right. So we ready? Where we stop at?
22.
And read.
And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel.
I'll make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel.
And one king shall be king to them all.
Who is that? That's the bridegroom. And read.
And they shall be no more two nations.
Uh-huh.
Neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all.
I want to say, may the Most High give a blessing to the reading of the word. All right, we thank each and every one of you for coming out, listening to this love story of marriage that was performed between Israel and the Most High, our Redeemer. I want to say also thank you for your time. Thank you so much.